Hey, what's going on? Tony Scott here on Smooth RB 105.7, actually in the studio. Radio show still going, still cooking, but I'm here it's been kind of muggy all day in Dallas. I don't know where you are. If you're in the DFW, you understand what I'm talking about. If you're from anywhere else, you may be experiencing the same thing because we've got like severe weather from the Ruta to the Tuta. And we're under a severe thunderstorm watch, I think, till like 2 in the morning, but it's supposed to be plenty ugly. So, batten down the hatches, as they say. So, time to look at Tony's Tea and some other stuff that I found interesting today. Kevin Hart is, remember the sex tape incident? We never saw the sex tape, but remember he was being extorted. Remember when that story came out? And we never really had an ending to that because no one ever found anything. I mean, the police were like, yeah, we're kind of looking at someone, but, you know, it's going to be a process and that whole thing because justice moves slow. We all know this. And then the world continued to evolve and more stories about other things, and I forgot about it. Well, apparently the police didn't. They kept investigating, and apparently the extortionist apparently was a close friend of Kevin Hart. Jonathan Todd Jackson is being charged with 2 felony counts, attempted extortion and extortion by threatening letter. JT, as he was known, has done some acting. He was in one of Kevin Hart's movies. He also was at Kevin's bachelor party. Kevin tweeted, mind blown, hurt, at a loss for words, and simply in complete disbelief at the moment. Wow. Talk about the ultimate. I mean, you know, I was talking to somebody earlier, and they said, you know what? If this dude, JT, would have needed money and just asked Kevin Hart probably would have gave it to him. Because that's just how Kevin Hart is. We've all heard the story about him and Tiffany Haddish, right? How she was living in her car and he gave her money to go stay at a hotel. And they weren't even like good friends then. He just heard about it and he liked her a lot, you know, as a talent and stuff like that. And, no, man, I just can't imagine being betrayed like that by somebody you would call a friend. Kanye West is clarifying his slavery comments. You know, he was on TMZ. I talked about this yesterday. And he said slavery was a choice. And the world, most of the world, did not like that. And I'll say most because I got a couple of calls today from men who say they agree with Kanye West. You know, Kanye's thing was it was like more slaves than slave masters, and you couldn't revolt, you couldn't fight back, you just stayed a slave. That's a form of mental slavery. And he says, to make myself clear, of course I know that slaves did not get shackled and put on a boat by free will. My point is for us to have stayed in that position, even though the numbers were on our side, means that we were mentally enslaved. People still not here for that. And shout out to Van Lathan on TMZ because he challenged Kanye yesterday when Kanye was on TMZ Live. And yesterday was, now Van has his own, he has a Red Pill podcast that it's very entertaining. But yesterday was his coming out party as far as he's now a star on TMZ because of what he said to Kanye West. And he was so on point, I thought, and he wasn't disrespectful at all. So I thought that was pretty cool. Cardi B says her wedding is going to be ghetto. She just knows it. You know, her and Offset from Migos, they got engaged like last October, and she says she could already envision the dice games that are going to be going on at the wedding. Well, if you put it in the universe, Cardi, come on, man. Just saying. John Legend is on board. Janelle Monáe is on board. Questlove is on board for the Mute R. Kelly movement. A lot of people they're ready to shut R. Kelly down. Why hasn't R. Kelly ever been convicted of anything, though? Why is that? He did go on trial. He didn't get convicted. Why? What is it? Does he have great lawyers? Or is there just not enough evidence to convict him? You might say, well, what about the girl in the videotape, right? Who was supposedly underage. Did he peed on or something? And it's like, well, maybe she wasn't underage. I don't know. I'm not defending him. I'm just wondering why hasn't he ever been convicted? I don't know why. But it looks like this Mute R. Kelly movement, though, is really picking up some steam. So if you plan on owning the Black Panther DVD when it comes out, and it's coming out in about a week or two, there apparently is a deleted scene in there that's going to be on the DVD that everybody's talking about. So there's that for you. Remember James Shaw Jr.? James Shaw Jr. is the Waffle House hero. Remember, he's the one who took the gun away from that guy to kill 4 people at the Waffle House in Tennessee? Well, apparently, at a White House briefing, Sarah Sanders was asked, have you guys reached out to James Shaw Jr.? And she says, yeah, we have. We tried to contact him. And James Shaw Jr. says, ain't nobody from the White House called me. Come on. So she lied. She lied. or did he miss the phone call? My money is she lied. That's where my money is. So I'm just saying. The doctor that wrote 3 years ago that Donald Trump's physical strength and stamina are extraordinary and if elected would be the healthiest ever elected president is now saying he never wrote any of that. He says Donald Trump wrote that. Shocker. That's a shocker. But, you know, did he break the law? No, he didn't break the law. No laws were broken. Just typical Trump, right? That's just how it is. I saw this story today. I did some reading about it, and I'm not sure if I believe this story or it's somebody who didn't make it into Alpha Kappa Alpha who has sour grapes. I don't know which way it goes on this, but I'll just tell you Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority, the one at Fort Valley, the chapter at Fort Valley State in Georgia, has been suspended after allegations of a sex ring came out. What's being alleged are that the newest members were involved in a sex prostitution ring to pay for pledging. And the leader of that chapter is being accused of being a pimp. Now, like I said, I don't want to believe it. I want to say it's fake news. I want to say it's a false allegation. I don't know. I'm just letting you know. Maybe you might want to investigate that yourself and see. So, a teenager, 17-year-old here in Plano, Texas, one of our suburbs here in North Texas, was arrested for planning and trying to recruit others to commit an ISIS-inspired mass shooting at Stonebriar Center Mall in Frisco, which is just north of Plano, here in the DFW. Again, he's 17 years old. He allegedly spent over $1,400 for weapons and tactical gear and was trying to get people on board to do this. I guess he couldn't find anybody, but he thought he was talking to some people, but they were undercover agents for the FBI, and now he got his picture on TV. So, this bothered me as a father with 3 daughters. There is apparently, it's charter schools in Chicago have policies that are so strict about students going to the bathroom that some girls are not making it to the bathroom and they're menstruating through their clothes in their pants. You know, they're not able to change their napkins or, you know, their products and stuff. And because they're not getting permission to go to the bathroom. They say the schools have escorts to walk them to the bathroom, but they rarely come when summoned. Now that bothers me. Now I had a talk with my daughters and told them about being respectful and everything, but, and I told them this, you could probably only do this one time that I'll have your back on, right? If you have to go to the bathroom for real, really bad, and the teacher tells you no, go anyway, and I'll deal with it. But you only get to do that once, okay? Because things happen, I understand that. But you can only do that once. It's like you have to, part of growing up is knowing when you have to go to the bathroom and go before it gets out of hand. So I told my daughters, if they tell you no and you really have to go, go anyway, and I'll deal with it later. So there's that. The 2 African-American gentlemen who were arrested at the Starbucks in Philadelphia have settled with the city of Philadelphia. They settled for $1 each. Now you're thinking, what? Well, it's more symbolic because the city has promised to invest $200,000 in programs for young entrepreneurs. That was the trade-off. Now, what I would like to see are some of these huge corporations in Philadelphia match the $200,000, and let's get that fund up pretty good, and let's see what we can do for young entrepreneurs. It would be, I know $200,000 is a lot of money, I get that, but it would be a great gesture. It would be great PR moves for these large corporations. You know, if you spend $200,000 on water bottles for your company at the fair, well, you can do $200,000 for that. That's all I'm saying. Now, Starbucks did announce they also settled with these 2 gentlemen, but they're not saying what if there was a figure involved or anything like that. In Charlottesville, that whole debacle that happened when the president really put us on a course that has us in a bad way. A white man was convicted. A white supremacist was convicted for beating a man. Let's see if I can pull that up real quick for you and see where we are here, because the man is like in his early 20s, I think. Yeah. DeAndre Harris was beaten in a parking garage by a few white supremacists. One of the men, a 23-year-old named Jacob Scott Goodwin, has been convicted of malicious wounding. He'll be sentenced in August. Now, he has said that he acted in self-defense after seeing DeAndre Harris What was he? He was swinging. What did he say he was swinging? He said he was swinging a flashlight at a man who was a state level chairman of a white nationalist group. But the young white man is going to be sentenced. What kind of sentence he gets, I don't know. Southwest Airlines today they were from Chicago to Newark. A plane had to land in Cleveland because a window cracked. And we all know what happened a few weeks ago when that happened. It turned catastrophic for one passenger who got sucked through the window. She was pulled back, but her injuries she eventually died from. That just broke everybody's heart. So, and the National Guard plane with 9 on board nosedived and crashed around Savannah, Georgia today. I saw a video of it on TV. It was like one of those big giant planes, and it just went straight down to the ground, not far from a gas station. So it could have potentially, and losing 9 people is way too many people to lose, but it could have been way worse had it been closer to the gas station. So there's that. So let's see. What else you guys want to comment on anything, any of the stories that I read? You got one on your own? You're more than welcome to, as we say hello. Sybil is in DeSoto. How you doing? Nikki, Thick Madam Lee. All right, Thickness. Regina's in the house. Brenda's in the house from Biloxi. We got, let's see, Elizabeth Mack. She lied. Who lied? So you got to be more specific when you just can't say she lied, because I don't know what story you're talking about. But just tell me what story you're talking about so I can circle back for you. Happy to do that for you. So, hey, Linda, how are you? Hope everything's good. R. Kelly's females were of another race. He would be on trial, in your opinion, Regina. I'm trying to think about that for a second. Let me see. If the girls were white, would R. Kelly be on trial already? Great point. That's a good point. Yeah, probably so. What school is that in Chicago that are not letting girls go to the bathroom who are on their period? You know what? It's the charter schools that are in the Chicagoland area. Let's see if I can name one school for you real quick. Noble Network of Charter Schools is the charter schools, but there's a few of them around, and I don't think in the story I'm looking at that one of them was called out by name, but apparently they have an exemption in the dress code, so menstruating students who stain their clothes can tie their school sweatshirts around their waists. At this point, they can't even get a change of clothes. They just have to wear a sweatshirt around their waist. Let's see. Students receive automatic detention after 4 demerits in a 2-week period and are required to take a character development course after 13 such detentions. Before this school year we're in now, the charter schools charge students, if you had to take the behavioral course, you had to pay $140. What kind of crazy crap is that? What is that? What is that? That's why you can't privatize. You can't privatize certain things in life. You can't privatize prisons, schools, although we've had private schools for a long time, but somebody needs to be looking at that whole thing, because that's not even right, man. That's not even right. Lawsuit on the way concerning what, Sybil? Please be more specific to me. Thank you so much. I'm doing very good. Doing good. Let's see. It was a military plane being retired from Puerto Rico. Daniel's talking about that plane that crashed in Savannah, in Georgia. It was a military plane. Now, Daniel, so this plane was actually used to bring aid to folks in Puerto Rico after the hurricane. Am I right? Did I read that right? So it was a plane that was being retired. It had just been inspected, like not that long ago, but it was being retired. And damn, I hate that. It's just horrible. Thanks for the update on that, Daniel. I appreciate that. Regina says she wouldn't let her daughters go to those schools in Chicago. I understand. Me too. So it's just crazy how power is a hell of a narcotic, and I would imagine that whoever made those rules, there probably were not a lot of women involved in making that decision, right? It was probably mostly men who made that decision to have such strict bathroom policies, It was a Puerto Rican National Guard plane being retired. Okay, gotcha. Okay, very good. Thank you for the clarification on that. Yeah, that's I'm just thinking about that thing in Chicago. I just can't believe that a school would keep students from going to the bathroom. I understand students go to the bathroom, go there and smoke and all that stuff like that. But there are just some things, and they actually have escorts who supposedly are supposed to walk you from the class to the bathroom, and I guess they stay. I mean, they don't go in a stall with you, but they stay to make sure you have to go to the bathroom. Which, okay, fine. But where are they when they're needed? Because according to what I read, most of the time those escorts never even show up to walk these kids to the bathroom. So I don't know. It's just a really bothersome thing to me. I don't know why, but I just don't like that. I just something about that. And the Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority at Fort Valley State that's suspended for an alleged sex ring that's going on over there in that chapter. Like I said before, I don't know if that's true or not. It sounds like somebody made it up, who maybe didn't make the cut into the sorority. I don't know, but I'm not trying to make light of it. I'm just saying that just sounds bizarre. I mean, is it plausible? Well, yeah, it is, but I just can't see that being a thing. Tammy, they do this at your granddaughter's school? That they have that strict of a restroom policy? Do they have escorts? Do they challenge them and really keep them from going to the bathroom? I mean, because that's inhumane. That's not right. You can't. I just don't see how you can do that. Seems like civil said there should be a law against the girls not allowing them to go to the bathroom. I mean, what if they were sick? Well, if they were sick, they get sent to the nurse's station, right? But go to the bathroom. You should be able to go to the bathroom without a problem. Especially if you've got escort. You don't trust the kids enough where you have to have an escort walk them to the bathroom. Like I said, fine, have somebody, but you cannot not show up. The humiliation of what some of these girls are going with, that's humiliating. Man, no. That's why I told my daughters, if you have to go and they say no, but you really, really have to go, then go anyway, and I'll deal with it. I've always told my girls that. But you can only do that one time, though. One time. Because after that, it becomes an issue of, one of those kinds of things. So your grandchildren, Tammy, go to school in Canton, Ohio, and they have the same issue there. I mean, that's interesting. I mean, and I don't know this for sure, but I'm pretty convinced that females didn't have a lot of input in making that decision. I just don't see that as, sounds like something like men would do, like men want to control women's reproductive rights. What is that? I never understood that. You don't let no women, there's no women on the panel at all. No women had a say in that at all. Really. And y'all are comfortable with that. Okay, well, that's why you suck. So, I'm just saying. The NRA convention is going to be here in Dallas this weekend. There was a story on the news earlier about it, how police are going to be working overtime, man, trying to keep the peace. There are going to be demonstrations down there. The NRA is got a target on its back. And people are saying that they've got too much pull. I wonder how possible is it to just outlaw lobbyists and outlaw. To me, the only people who should be contributing to anybody's political campaign are voters, not corporations, not PACs or super PACs, none of those. They have to be people. They have to be individuals. And you can only contribute to a candidate. How possible is it? How realistic is that? And I think a candidate, they should have a capped amount of how much money they can spend, on the campaign. Everybody needs to be on equal footing. Everybody gets $20 million. That's it. That's all you get. I raised more than $20 million. Well, you know what? That was pretty impressive that you did that. But no, you can't use it all. I'm sorry, you can't. I mean, I just like to say there has to be radical change. I mean, is it even possible? I don't even know if that's even possible to do. That just seems there needs to be some change because Americans don't trust politicians at all. we got this turd, Ted Cruz, trying to run for re-election, and I just have no respect for him at all. As a politician, as a man, as a husband, I have no respect for him at all, right? Because the president dissed your wife, and I'm not saying you had to throw hands, but you went after him, and then when he got the nomination, you know, you were, you know what I'm saying? you were on your knees, man. I mean, come on. You should just move on with your life, man. You don't need to have anything to do with Trump. But you want to be in the game so bad that your wife had to take one for the team? For real? Like, wow, that's crazy. There was a lawsuit here, Sybil, in Texas, you say? Let me put it up so everybody can read what you're saying here. In Texas, they can't do it. In Dallas, anyway. Someone filed a lawsuit in DeSoto about not allowing the child to go to the bathroom. And so there were consequences to that, is what you're saying, right? Hi, Evelyn. How you doing? But there needs to be, thank you, Daniel. Daniel says, preach on. There just needs to be, like, serious change. You know, I can deal, you know, I think most people can deal with the fact that Trump has all these children by 3 different women. They could deal with that, right? But you turn around and throw that kind of thing in people's faces, but yet you've done the same thing. I think that's where the problem is that, okay, wait a minute. wait a minute. You're shading people, but you're kind of shady too. You know? I mean, that's I think that's where the problem lies, is that it's almost like a look down their nose at you kind of thing. Like, you know, I'm better than you, even though I've done the same things you've done. And I just don't think people are here for that. And I think we're turned off by politicians. And I've said this to somebody yesterday. Whether he chooses not to run again, whether he doesn't get the nomination, if he gets the nomination to run again and wins, if he's impeached, whatever. Whoever the next president is, trust and believe they're going to be closing a lot of loopholes that this president exposed. You know what I'm saying? There's going to have to be definitive guidelines, right? Your family cannot work for you. Your family cannot be a special advisor for you. They can't have no role in your administration whatsoever. That needs to be explicit. Needs to be just written out explicitly like this. There's a lot of things like that. It's kind of a shady gray area from what I'm told. Well, you know what? We need to close some of those loopholes, man, because you know what? That's really booty. I mean, it really is. I mean, for real. You know, it's like that shouldn't be that's just not right. And there's a lot of reform that needs to go on. You know, it's common sense reform. But we as the voters, we have to hold these folks accountable. We can no longer say, I'm not voting. I'm not voting. I found it interesting when I watched James Comey on with Stephen Colbert. Was it last week? You know, he's promoting his book. Stephen Colbert asked him, "Did you vote?" And he says, "No, I'm the director of the FBI." And I got to thinking, well, wait a minute. I mean, okay, I understand that, but you still need to vote. You still have to vote. It's like you're not going to vote because you're the director of the FBI. You're on the highest level of government service, and you're not doing one of the basic rights that we have as Americans. What in the hell is that? That bothered me. I don't know why, and I like James Comey. I mean, I don't know that much about him. I believe him before I believe the president, but we'll see. Now the president and Robert Mueller, the special counsel, there's going to be a showdown sooner or later because Mr. Mueller is saying that, you know what, we may be subpoenaing throw a subpoena toward the president's way. And I call it a subpoena because I heard somebody, who was that, Wilford Brimley, that said that in a Paul Newman movie. He goes, I got these here subpoenas. I was like, what? But anyway, does the president even have to answer questions because he's the president? My first response would be, yes, he does. I don't care if it's Donald Trump or Barack Obama. If you get subpoenaed, you got to answer the questions. Are you an American? Are you a citizen of this country? Yes. Then you have to play by you don't get to get different rules because you're the president. I mean, nobody's going to ask you about government secrets. We want to know specifically about this little situation right here. This is what we want to know about, right? I mean, that's what I think. I mean, when they went after Bill Clinton for the Monica Lewinsky thing, and they were like, well, he's only going to do a recorded deposition. I wasn't happy about that. I was like, no, man, I mean, I'm a Democrat, but you got to get in there, man. You got to get in there. You got to get in there, man, and do what's right. Come on, man. Even if it costs you your gig, come on, man. That's how I look at it. But, you know, maybe I'm wrong. Wouldn't be the first time. Won't be the last. I'm just saying. So, all right, that's everything I have. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Look, if you get a chance to share this on your Facebook timeline, that would be like a big help to me if you could do that. Tell people we try and do this most weekdays around 6 o'clock, live from the Smooth R&B 105.7 studios. So there's that. And I'm trying to see what is that about. Got that going. Okay, cool. But if you could share it, that'd be great. You can follow me on all my social media platforms at Tony Scott Media, except on YouTube. Where am I on YouTube? I'm on This and That Media. Subscribe to my channel. And appreciate it so much. So much, Tammy. Thank you, sugar. Thank you, boo-boo. I've never had a pet name for my wife. Ever. We've never had pet names for each other. So, yeah, the president and civil shouldn't be treated any different. I mean, shouldn't. You should be held to a higher standard. That means you should be held accountable. Actually, you should be held to a, how do you word that? The flame should be hotter when it's held to his feet. You know what I'm saying? Because he is the president. You know? So there you go. Thank you, Daniel. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate you looking out for me. Everybody have a great evening. And tomorrow we'll hopefully do this again. Tell your friends to join us. Come on down and join us here on our Facebook Live. Here on, it's KRB 105.7 is our Facebook page. So there you go. All right. Take care. Talk to you soon. Thanks again.